How can I use line plots to help me take care of our class pet insects? In this lesson, you will learn how to solve subtraction problems by using information presented in a line plot. Let's review. When we are looking at a line plot, we have to be sure that we know how to read or interpret the information. We have a line plot that's been created for the data in the table below. Each mark above the number on the line plot represents a piece of data. Understanding that each mark on a line plot represents a piece of data helps us make sense of the data and answer questions, such as how many students are 50 inches tall? Since there are 3 marks above the 50 on our line plot, there are 3 students that are 50 inches tall. When working with line plots with fractional data, it is important to remember how to subtract fractions. When we subtract fractions, like in the problem below, it can be a common misunderstanding to subtract both the numerator and denominator. However, it is important to remember that we're subtracting pieces of a whole. For the problem 3/4 minus 2/4, we start with 3/4 and take away 2/4. When we draw 3/4 in a model, we can see that once we subtract the 2/4, we have 1/4 remaining. Let's use what we know to help us solve the following problem. Susan enjoyed taking care of the class's pet insects because she got to observe their behavior. The smallest insects seemed to move the fastest and the largest insects seemed to move the slowest. Susan charted the lengths of the insects on a line plot to see the difference in sizes. How much longer is the largest insect than the shortest? We know that we're trying to figure out how much longer the longest insect is than the shortest. We also know that Susan plotted the data on a line plot to help organize her data for this problem. The line plot of data for length of insects is a helpful way to easily see the length of the longest and the shortest insects. As we find the length of the longest insect on our line plot, we want to be thinking about how we might solve this problem. What operation might help us? As we find the length of the shortest insect, we can see that we are looking for the distance between these two numbers on the line plot, or the difference between the two numbers. Subtraction can help us find the distance between 8/8 and 1/8. 8/8 minus 1/8 is 7/8, and we are working in inches, so the answer is 7/8 inches. Our complete answer for this problem is the following. Susan's line plot helped us figure out that the longest insect in the classroom is 7/8 inch longer than the shortest insect in the classroom. We knew to subtract because we were looking for the difference in lengths. In this lesson, you have learned how to solve subtraction problems by using information presented in a line plot.